this frustration, all this frustration, who put down our eyes on a butterfly's wings? All this frustration, who gave the leopard spots and taught the birds to sing? Born of frustration, born of frustration.
Okay, I just wanted to talk about a couple of bits of evidence that support evolution. I mean, really, if you want to properly investigate evolution as fact and theory, then you need to really engage with all the evidence that exists, and there is loads. You know, there are millions of fossils around the world in different museums and different places. If, as Darwin said, if there's anything that goes against the tree, if there's some fossil that pops up that's just completely incongruous with all the other evidence, then it will disprove evolution. That's never ever happened. Creationists often bang on about transitional fossils. It's just a load of rubbish. I mean, all fossils are transitional by the very nature of evolution. Everything is a transition. We are different Homo sapiens than Homo sapiens 2,000 years ago, or 5,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago. If you look at the genetic structures, they have evolved. We have a different genome now to Homo sapiens from 50,000 years ago. You know, we are constantly evolving. So really, the one bit of evidence I wanted to talk about was genetics, because if anything has proved evolution, it's genetics. And as Francis Collins, who's a hardcore Christian, who used to be the head of the Human Genome Project, he says that the evidence for evolution is incontrovertible. It's incontrovertibly true, factual, and you know, you don't get much better appraisal of the evidence for evolution than someone that's really involved in it, someone that's a geneticist, a biologist, that understands all of the theory that goes into evolution, and has also been playing with the evidence and genetics. You know, at the end of the day, why would genes exist if evolution wasn't the factual explanation for species? You know, what use do genes have if not for carrying data which passes on and on from generation to generation, which gets copied incorrectly on occasion, and which explains all the changes and the evolution through species? So really, if Francis Collins, as a committed Christian, can see that evolution is incontrovertibly true, then I can't see how creationists can go on for much longer denying it. You know, to say that evolution is just a theory, to deny that evolution exists, you know, you're just an idiot. Just as a final addendum, the only other thing I did want to mention was the fact that people seem to argue that because evolution is just a theory, it should be taught alongside other theories in schools, particularly in America. Now, this would be an acceptable approach if evolution was as severely doubted as creationists claim, but scientists all over the world will back up evolution to the hilt, apart from a few crackpots. And if the alternative theories had as much credibility as evolution does, this is simply not the case. This is like saying, as an analogy, gravity is only a theory. Now, I pose that an invisible goblin called Ted is pulling down the spoon that I drop every time I drop it, and in fact he's all around the universe pulling down these things towards the ground, thus enacting gravity. It's a theory. You could teach it alongside gravity. Does it have as much evidence? No. Is gravity accepted by scientists? Yes. Is the goblin theory accepted by scientists? No. Should you teach it side by side with gravity? Absolutely not. Just because there is an alternative theory does not mean it should be taught. There should be an established consensus, especially in education, as to what theories are accepted and what aren't, as being plausible. It's not just about being possible, it's about being plausible. And this goes along with, the broadcasting services around the world as well. Whenever you get a news report and they say, we've got someone that believes X, and they think they have to balance it up by getting someone that disagrees with that, even though the person that believes X has like 99.8% of a consensus opinion about X. They get on someone and give them equal time on the TV that believes Y, and only 0.2 people in the world believe Y. Just because someone else believes an alternative does not mean it should get equal airtime, because there's no consensus for it, and it's generally not upheld by people in the know. And it's the same in science. Alternative theories should only be given the kind of airtime that they deserve. And when evolution is being concerned, there are no plausible alternative theories. So evolution should be taught in schools, and no other theory should be taught. It's just absolute bunkum that because it's a theory, you should be allowed to teach other theories to compete with it, when the other theories that compete with it are just, they're not scientific, or they don't have the evidence to back them up. So that's really the last thing I wanted to say on this topic. There's huge amounts of other things that anyone could say about evolution, and I could go on for an hour about the different evidences that back up evolution, but that's not really the idea of this video. It's just to show that anyone that says it's just a theory, as I said earlier, is just an idiot.
All this frustration, who put brown our eyes on a butterfly's wings? All this frustration, who gave the leopard spots